if I grunt and stuff like that, it's because of that surgery. I apologize. So
I'll just say, okay. All right, this is what I mean about, takes a few minutes, we are on, but let me get this rolling.
Hopefully my parents are on, right?
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, there we are. Sounds good. Okay, well, and I'm going to share this real quick.
Okay. I just shared it right before I came in too.
Oh, good.
So.
Well, welcome back to another WCN Live here in the Wilson County News Break Room. My name is Kristen Weaver, Director of Operations here at the Wilson County News, and today my guest is
Dylan Forde.
Very nice to have
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you.
Looking forward to our talk today. First, I want to thank our sponsor. We are sponsored today by Professionals in Dentistry, the top-rated dentist in China Grove, San Antonio. Smile brighter at Professionals in Dentistry. Thank you so much for your sponsorship of WCN Live, and we're looking forward to more of those. Give them a shout out. They'll be tagged in the description of this video, and really great to have you as a sponsor. Thank you so much. Okay, well, next what we're going to do before we get into our conversation, I want to remind everybody, as you're joining us, to please post a comment while we're live. When you do that, that gets your name into the drawing for the next week. So we have some comments here from last week's conversation. If you would draw me a winner, please.
Yes, ma'am. The winner is Sharon Pullman.
Very good,
Sharon.
Congratulations. She's a loyal watcher. I'm sure she's going to jump on here today and see this. But Sharon, you are our WCN Live winner today, and I will be reaching out to you on Facebook Messenger later. So look forward to that. She wins a C Street Gift Shop gift bag. So congratulations. And as y'all are posting your comments, you can ask questions and really engage in the conversation. I'd be happy to see that and be able to answer some questions. So, all right. Well, we will get started then. So, Dylan, tell me a little about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
Yes, ma'am. Well, name's Dylan Forde. Thank you, of course, for having me on again.
Thank you for being here.
I'm from the Wilson County area originally. I guess I'll just kind of go down a rabbit hole, if you will.
Yeah.
Started my company almost 2 years ago now in San Antonio.
Okay.
Everyone was tired of the damn traffic in San Antonio. So, and I'm from Wilson County.
Yeah.
So, moved back out here with my fiance, and we have I own 2 properties. One in San Antonio as a rental, about one here in Floresville. We have 2 beautiful beagles. We're newly engaged, so working on the wedding date.
Congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And yeah, just 23 years old as well. My fiance is 22, so we're youngins. Most people don't know that. Of course, people my age know that, but most of our clients, respectfully, thankfully, have not asked. So that's good.
Wow, yeah,
So,
you have an interesting story.
I do.
What got you into real estate?
I always wanted to be in business growing up. My dad's a small business owner, and basically, I was in college, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Everyone goes through that phase, right? Yeah. And I was like, I'm tired of sitting around, and I didn't get the ball rolling. So Tomas Martinez, he used to work for my dad, and he's the owner of Luxury Home Magazine in San Antonio.
Oh, nice.
So my dad was like, hey, I'm going to refer you him. Get connected with him. I know you want to be in real estate. He's your guy. Right. So he gets me connected with him, speak to Tomas, and he's like, hey, move to San Antonio right now. I'm going to get you hooked up on the best, I'm going to get you hooked up with a couple people. Right. I moved to San Antonio the next month, got connected with Tomas, joined a team, and then boom, pretty much got in from up there. So.
Wow. Well, so like you said, you're young for doing what you're doing. You even graduated early. You're just like a go-getter. You have this, obviously this.
If there's opportunity there, I'm definitely taking it, regardless of what it is. Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Right. So, John Goodwin says, Dylan Forde is the best. Make real estate great again.
There we go, John.
Yes.
There we go.
Yep. Very cool.
Shout out Mavericks, by the way. He's one of the owners of Mavericks.
Oh, so, awesome. Yeah, that's right, John. Yeah, he's been on here before too. That's really cool. So if we didn't make that clear, we're talking about your real estate business that you have and that you've been at it a couple years. You're young. And so tell me a little more about that. Like you were saying kind of earlier that people when they tend to work with people that they know.
Yeah.
In your case, you don't seem to have a problem with that.
Can you rephrase your question? Sorry.
Okay. Well, you're young, and you've gotten to know a lot of people through what you've done, but very fast.
Yes.
At a young age. How did you do that?
Yeah. So the biggest thing, which we had a conversation before off camera, just for everyone to know. But basically, my point was most people hire a realtor based off personal relationship, right? And being young, most people my age aren't buying homes, so I had to develop those relationships in unique ways. Our main way, believe it or not, is cold calling. So we do a lot of cold calling. And a lot of my clients who love me dearly and we're friends on Facebook, hopefully they're watching, I cold call them. And I've actually sold a couple of my homes to my neighbors, and I called one of them at 9 o'clock at night. Hey, I saw you're looking at my website. Let's get rolling. So basically, you got to have a go-getter mentality, and we don't rely on just solely knowing people. We develop those relationships and then go from there. However, my fiance as well, who works for me, we get our business mainly through cold calling, developing those relationships. But first, we got those relationships through our knowledge and our work ethic. Period. And most people are not the same way. Respectfully, they get their business through personal relationships, not necessarily their work ethic and knowledge, which of course you're going to have people that do both, of course. But I'm just saying most, in my opinion. So hopefully that makes sense.
So what would you say your mission is with your group, Dylan Forde Real Estate Group?
Our mission, number one, I guess you can say the biggest one right now is, just assisting as many people as possible. Wilson County, I have huge hopes for, and huge, I guess you can say, I witnessed firsthand how many people have moved to San Antonio, especially through COVID, and all the construction and all these things of that nature. And they can only build north so far. I mean, you go to Bernie now, it doesn't feel like a small town. It doesn't. And so when you come down here, you get that small town vibe, you get that rural vibe, which people are wanting now. And you go back 10 years ago, I feel like it wasn't as much of a hot commodity as it is now. So that's kind of what I have hope for Wilson County is I think it's going to boom within the next 10 to 15 years. So I want to set my roots here, and I'm from here too, so it helps a little bit. Having my parents and family not too far, and friends and such, and set my roots here and take over. So
cool. That's a pretty good mission.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, what would you say, give me some helpful recommendations, words of advice to buyers and sellers, and you can do one and then the other.
Okay, there's a lot in there to unpack. So I'm gonna say one broad one, and then I'll give a little bit two specifics, okay? One broad one, biggest word of advice for buyers and sellers is meet with me. Okay, there's your broad one. Okay,
right there.
Meet with me. We have a tailored game plan in place. As you can tell, we're go-getters. So we've had over 230 5-star reviews, not a single 1-star. So you're not going to be the first. Okay. So that's one thing is we pride ourselves on 5-star service from beginning to end, and from everything from our initial contact to closing, we're on top of it, and we have a whole process in place to make this as seamless and stress-free as possible. Because a lot of people, when they're buying or selling a home, they unfortunately don't know what's happening. And I want to make sure they know what's happening every step of the way. So that would be my broad, a little bit more specific for sellers. The longer you sit on the market, the less money in your pocket relative. Put yourself in a buyer's shoes. If you see a home on the market for 1 day or 100 days, which one are you willing to pay full price for? Which one would you? Probably the 1 day, right? If you saw a home on the market for 100 days, you'd be like, I'm not going to pay full price for that. I'm going to negotiate a little bit, right? So the quicker we sell your home, relatively speaking, the more money in your pocket, period. Okay? On the buying side of things, which I've worked with a lot of buyers throughout my career. Buying side of things, a lot of people want to look at list price, right? So let's say a home's listed at $300,000, and they're like, Dylan, I want to offer $260. I'm just throwing it out there. They want a hell of a deal, which that's my job, but they want a deal, and that's what we're going to do. But $260, relatively speaking, monthly payment's important for a lot of people, right? If you got $260, or let me break it down like this: every $10,000 off a sales price is only going to save you around $50 to $60 a month. Okay. Which is not really much, right? When you think about it, relatively speaking. However, if you focused on closing costs, which closing costs is, basically you're going to have closing costs associated with your loan. And so if we got $10,000 in closing costs, number one, you can save $10,000 of cash. Or number two, you could take that $10,000, buy down your interest rate, and that would save you roughly anywhere from $200 to $300 a month.
Okay.
So $10,000 in closing costs saves you, number one, $10,000 in cash. Number two, $200 to $300 a month, or potentially both. However you want to do it, it's yours to choose to do with. But $10,000 in sales price is only going to save you $50, $60 a month. If you're someone not purchasing with cash or a huge down payment. So those are huge savings that no one really discusses, and that's what we take pride on, is having those conversations saying, hey, first time home buyer, I know we're limited on funds. Let's focus on closing costs, because you can buy down that rate, or, you can save 10 grand. I'm sure, if you were buying a home right now, 10 grand would probably be a little, you'd like that in your pocket, right?
Yeah,
so.
that'd be nice. Okay.
So, yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Do you do anything like events or activities that you have going on that we would see you in the community, or anything like that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so I have a couple things in the works.
Okay.
However, the biggest one that we're doing currently, which isn't necessarily, I guess you can say that we're hosting, but we're actually going to, is we've had companies reach out to us recently where they want us to go present to their employees to do home buying seminars and show them what it takes to buy a home in today's market. So anyone out there that would love the same thing, I don't care if it's a restaurant, I don't care what business, I'm more than happy, my fiance and my team and I, which I'll dive into later, to go out there and have that. Because there's a lot of education that, you see a lot of misinformation too, of course, right? If you're on TikTok, Instagram, you don't know what's true and what's not when buying a home, selling a home, right? And even if you're experienced, home seller or buyer, things change on a weekly basis. Buying a home in 2008 is completely different than buying a home now, right? So, there's a lot of trends and regulations and rules that change on a yearly basis. Right. So the biggest thing that we're hosting right now is we're going out to companies, we're doing a home buying and selling event, and just showing, hey, here's the information how to buy and sell a home. Obviously, we're not forcing you to buy or sell a home. We're just giving you that value and information. And, that's the biggest thing we're doing. However, we do typically a quarterly giveaway. We do things of that nature, and we're working on hosting an event here shortly, which I'll post on my Facebook and such once that gets solidified. So
cool.
Yeah.
What about, so you mentioned about, do you want to say anything more about your team and that aspect?
Yes. So I guess I'll kind of, I know I was very broad and quick earlier, so I'll break it down.
Okay.
I started my team around 2 years ago. As I mentioned before, we've had over 235 stars, not a single 1-star. So you're not going to be the first, you as well, if you're looking.
Okay.
But so we're very big on that, and that's a huge testimonial. It's not like we're writing these; these are real people, real people that have worked with us. My fiance, she works for me. On average, 2024 stat came out last year. Actually, about 74% of realtors did not close a home, and of the 26 that did, they averaged 2 homes.
Okay.
My fiance and I, we're blessed enough to say we assisted almost 60 clients last year, 60 homes last year. So that should give a testimonial as well to that. And, so she works for me. It was her first year last year, and she closed over 20 homes.
Wow.
All through cold calling. She's not from here. My fiance, she's from Chicago. She moved to Odessa, moved to San Antonio. She moved to Wilson County with me. She knew no one, and she closed over 20 people, and the average is 2. Just to get that relative. So that just shows you our work ethic, our value, and things of that nature, because we are young, and the way that people trust us is because we know what we're doing, and we're going to work hard because we do care, and we want to make sure that every step of the way is as 5-star as possible. So that's number one. Number two, if you're a home buyer, we're partnered with an amazing mortgage company, Movement Mortgage, Crystal Villanueva. So basically, from beginning to end, if you're buying a home, we get you connected with her. You don't have to use her. However, the reason we get you connected with her is because just like how we feel with our 5-star service, that's what she gives. Best interest rates, best loan terms, best service, things of that nature. Because especially in today's age, when you're buying a home, you want the best service and you want the best interest rate, right? That's why we get them connected with her. So she's been in business 20 years, closed over 1,500 homes, and she's a huge valuable asset to our company.
Sounds like
and
it.
She gets basically she's on that same 5-star wavelength with us. Our clients love her. I have an amazing assistant. Her name's Misty, and she does all the paperwork. Because we got to be out there running the gun in, and like as soon as I leave here, I'm going to Buda to go close a home. And so she helps so much with that. So she does all the paperwork. She's licensed. She does, so she's another resource of knowledge. And from title companies to inspector, our inspector has been in business 20 years. So basically, I know I'm going down a rabbit hole, but from beginning to end, we have our trusted vendors, we have our trusted people. So, and if I'm putting my, stamp on it, then you can take it to the bank. That's going to be, a good fit. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And if it's not, you're not obligated to use them. I'll work with you if you're working with anyone in regards to vendor wise. But I want to make sure I'm providing as much value as possible so I can make this as streamlined as possible for you. Because it is, selling or buying a home. Yeah. It's a huge deal. It is. And it's kind of.
It can get messy.
Well, so. it is very. It's mostly, there's more messy than not typically. However, I mean, this is I'm just talking relative, but this is the biggest investment of your life. If you're buying a home, 300, 400, 500, I mean, think of how much money that is. And vice versa. You're selling a home, 300, 400, 500, 600,000. Yeah. That's a shit ton of money we're talking here. And I want to make sure that we are on top of it and that you're taking care of every step of the way and you know what's going on. Right. I want to make sure that is happening. So.
Cool.
As you can tell, I'm fired up.
Oh, yeah, man. Okay, do you sleep?
Yeah, so we get up pretty early. Like I mentioned to you, I had a minor surgery, unfortunately. So, but we typically get up very early. Yeah. I'm up, at the gym 4 a.m. here at Anytime Fitness. I love the new center here. It's awesome, and so we built a lot of relationships with that too. I love seeing all the people. But no, very cool. We're very. We try to be on top of it as much for our clients. I've had client calls, which, if you're hearing this and you want to work with me, I love it. It doesn't mean you have to do what I'm about to say, but I've taken client calls at 5 a.m. and I've taken client calls at midnight. So I try to make sure I'm available as much as possible for my clients because when you're buying or selling a home, a lot of things are running through your head. Okay. It's a huge commitment what's happening, whether you're selling or buying, and I want to make sure if you're stressed out or if anything at all is concerning, I want to make sure I'm available to answer that. Yeah. So. Wow. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yes,
Pretty
ma'am.
good. Impressive. So tell me, where can we go to learn more about you? You mentioned Facebook, some social media.
Yeah. So Facebook. I have a business Facebook, Dylan Forde Real Estate Group. Okay. I have a personal Facebook, Dylan Forde, which I try to add a lot of people, even if I don't know them. Okay, just to build relationships and see how we're doing because I'm pretty active on social media. Okay. So I'm always posting our closings. I'm always posting what's happening, and we even have a videographer where we're posting sometimes funny things. Yeah. And, just
keep it entertaining.
Keep it entertaining. Because real estate can be boring to a lot of people. It's not to me, but it can be to a lot of people. So Facebook's a big one. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You just type in Dylan Forde, you'll find it. Yeah. But our website, DylanFordeRealEstate.com, is going to have where you can look at homes here in Wilson County, and really anywhere. But and it goes a little bit about ourselves as well and what we do with our clients because, apps such as Zillow and things of that nature. I'm not sure. Do you look at Zillow ever? No? No. Happy where you're at, I guess. Okay, yeah. So a lot of people they just typically look at Zillow, just to browse homes, just to look. And I've had clients, Zillow's not up to date for the most part, and so our website's up to date by the minute. So like, let's say a home goes under contract or whatever the case may be, it's gonna update accordingly. And if a home hits the market, it's gonna update accordingly as well. So if you go to my website, you want to look at homes, you want to send homes to yourself, you can do that all through the power of that website. And there's actually have an app as well that you can download from the website. It works like a Zillow app. And basically, I say that just because, the worst thing ever is when I have a client they're looking at Zillow and a home that they love goes under contract and it rips their heart out. And I'm like, let's look at my website because it's updated by the minute.
Yeah.
So,
wow. That's impressive. Everything about you is impressive. My goodness. We do have a question from Neela. Thank you for joining us. How do you feel about representing both the seller and buyer? How do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
Okay.
Reason being, my client is my obligation. It is my best interest. When I have you as a seller or I have you as a buyer, I'm looking out for your best interest and your best interest only. You cannot do that while representing both sides, period. When I'm selling your home, my goal is to get it sold as quickly as possible and get the most amount of money for your home as possible. how can I do that if I'm representing both sides?
Right.
And just on the vice versa, if I'm representing a buyer, my deal, I'm trying to get that monthly payment and cash to close as low as possible for you. And how can I do that if I'm talking to the seller as well?
Yeah.
So I'm completely against it. I don't think it's good. And people are going to have their own opinion on it for sure. However, I'm obligated to my clients, and that's why we have the 5 stars we do. Because I just don't think it's possible to have your client's best interest if you're talking to 2 people on the same deal, because you can't get the best deal for both.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, good question. Thank you for asking.
Yes, ma'am.
And thank you for joining us, Sherry. Good to see you today. Okay, well, is there anything that maybe we left out that you still would like to bring up? I'm kind of come to the end of my notes here.
We went quick.
So, around about the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing in regards to, my business. As you can see, we're passionate about it.
Or maybe, I don't know if there's another question that you often get asked, or something that you might want to bring up that way that you often meet with, and that you could answer for people. Like, that was a good question that she made.
Yeah, that was a great question. That was a great question. Very in detail question.
Yeah.
So,
what do you come across commonly, or anything else? Because you kind of gave some tips earlier to your buyers and sellers. So I would just ask something like that, kind of based on what Neela was saying. But are there other things that you encounter or can caution
I would
us
say,
to?
just because we're talking out loud here, a biggest one is interest rates. I think that's a big scare to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's true.
And I definitely understand that. And, I guess the biggest thing, I work with a lot of first-time home buyers as well.
Okay.
And the biggest thing to, people is obviously the interest rates, right? Which I totally get it, right? Right now we're, shifting between 6 and 7%.
Okay.
And a lot of people, they're still idolizing that 2 to 3% that kind of happened not too long ago, which it feels like forever ago. But, however, that was kind of a glimpse. It was kind of the only time in history that's actually really happened.
Okay.
And that's when I got into the industry, was in those interest rates. And I'll tell you this, first-time home buyers, that was a hellhole to buy a home. It was tough. And the reason being is every home, I don't know if you heard the madness, was going $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over list price, because borrowing money was so easy. So people were just throwing these deals at, and that's why we have such a inflated price point. And so my point being is, if you're a first-time home buyer, this is a fantastic time to start exploring options. Reason being, we have so much negotiation room, as I mentioned before. A couple of quick stats for y'all in regards to what we did last year in 2024, because I just had this at the presentation, is of our 10 veterans/down payment assistance program clients, which our lender she offers down payment assistance programs where your down payment's covered. And then it's up to me to negotiate the closing costs and we've basically been able to get our last 10 veterans and down payment assistance program clients into homes for no money out of pocket.
Wow.
That would not happen in a low interest rate market.
Okay.
So, reason being, obviously, like, money's easier to borrow. So right now, with our first-time homebuyers, we're able to negotiate that. If you're a down payment assistance, we get you. I mean, I'm sure you'd love to get into a home, little or no money out of pocket. And if rates do drop, you just refinance at that time and take advantage of that monthly payment instead of paying for it at the closing table, right? Yeah. So that's what we're doing, and just educating our clients on that. Just because when interest rates do drop, which a lot of people think with the new administration that it's going to drop, it's going to open up a can of worms, because right now prices are high. They're going to get higher before they get lower. When the interest rates drop, because a lot of people are sitting on the sidelines, and if you're someone limited on funds, I think this is the absolute best time to start exploring options. And then vice versa, if you're looking to sell and you're waiting for rates to drop because you know your home's going to go up in price, well, that home you're looking to buy next is going to go up in price too. So it really just, there's always a pro and con to every market. However, right now the negotiation room is so much better. And I remember when I got into the industry, we were putting in 20 offers before we got an offer accepted. I'm not joking. It was tough. I was driving home. We were seeing, you literally had to put an offer in within that home hitting within 24 hours. It was nuts. I've never seen anything like it. So right now, when someone says they're ready to buy, and it is so much easier of a process, not only for them, obviously for me as well, but specifically for them because they're not feeling rushed. Imagine seeing a home, it's a big decision, and you have to pull the trigger right there. Now, we can run the numbers, make sure everything looks good for you, which number one of part of our process is with our buyers. Before we see any home, we make sure they know what their monthly payment is before walking in the door. Because a lot of people don't know that when they're walking into a home, and I think that's the most important thing. It is. The most important thing.
Absolutely.
So the biggest thing, interest rates, don't let them scare you. You know, the big another stat, which, you know, as you can see, I'm passionate. I'm just gonna run it off. About, you know, I'm blanking on the stat, but I want to say it's about 65% of homeowners in America have a sub 4.5% interest rate, or their home paid off. Okay. So what that means is right now at 7%, or, you know, let's just talking out loud. That's not. Would you sell your home if it was paid off for a 7% rate to buy a new one? Probably not, right? So what we're needing to see is basically rates drop to incentivize these people to sell their home, because the reason why home prices are still going up is because we have an inventory shortage. There's not many homes in the market, especially Floresville. I don't know. I know you mentioned, you know, go on Zillow, but in Floresville, you look, there's not many. There's really not many homes, and the biggest reason why, especially out here, a lot of people are from the area for a long time, so their homes are typically paid off or they have a low interest rate, right? So basically, what we need to see, which I don't control the rates, of course, but what we need to see is the rates come down to incentivize people to sell, because we have such a lack of inventory. However, you know, until we get to that point, and when they start coming down, buyers are going to start coming in with that low inventory, and prices are going to shoot up. So the biggest thing is, you know, if there's a pro and con to every market, so don't let the rates scare you. And if rates start dropping, it's going to get uglier before it gets better. Let's just put it that way. Because even if we get down to 5, those people with the 2% interest rate may not be incentive enough. So there's a lot that goes into it, but that's why my number one tip would be to schedule a phone call with my team and I, or an in-person meeting, especially here in Wilson County. I live like 5 minutes away here, so you know, so we can go over that customized game plan for you to set you up in the best position. Because I want to make sure whoever buys or sells a home with us is getting the best service, but the best deal absolutely possible. So
really nice.
Yes,
wow.
ma'am.
Yeah, you make a good plan there, and I can see how you can help a lot of people in the area. So just well done. Faith mentions.
There you go.
Well, she wants to know, what was a moment in your company or real estate that made you realize that you were meant to be in real estate?
What was a moment? That's
Faith. Magnus.
Oh, my fiance? Okay. That's why I was like, okay.
Okay, she wants you to talk about that.
That wanted me to be in real estate.
Was there a moment? Special.
I don't think there was a moment. I think that
your dad kind of helped, like,
So he got me. He got me connected with Tomas. And, you know, shout out Tomas. He's been such a great, you know, he's on a cruise right now, enjoying himself. Which I know he's not a Wilson County native, but he's been a huge mentor of mine, and he works with all the top agents, owning luxury magazine, you would imagine. So I get great tips and things of that nature from him. But I don't think there was necessarily a moment. I think that I've always wanted to be in real estate. I remember when my parents bought their first house, right? And it was in Rosewood, in Livonia. Or it wasn't their first house. It was the first time I can consciously remember.
Recall it.
Let's just put it that way. And I fell in love with this house. It was so beautiful. All my friends in high school thought we had the house on the block. You know what I'm talking about? And I was like, Mike Fulmer, which shout out Mike Fulmer.
Mike.
He's such a great, he's a great man, and he's done a lot for our community and things like that. I vividly remember him. I'm 2 feet tall, and he remembers me, believe it or not. And so he sells this home to us, and I love this home. And I feel like that, if I had to put a moment, that's probably the moment, because this home was, excuse my language, badass. And it felt like home, just walking in. And I still, you know, unfortunately, my parents moved, but that felt like home to me, that home. And I vividly remember Mike Fulmer selling the home to my parents, and ever since that moment, that was probably the moment for me that I wanted to get in real estate. And
it did something. It planted a seed.
I would say that, and then the little moments since then is when I got into real estate, and a lot of our clients had horrible experiences in the past, which is true. And I think, you know, realtors get a bad rep, in my opinion, from what I see and hear, and I don't blame that rep, because the things that my clients have gone through at previous ages, not knowing the process, things of that nature, it hurts because we're very passionate about this, and we want to make sure that we're, number one, we want to kick ass and be competitive, but number two, I want everyone to be happy about a home purchase, not feel like their life is over because they don't know what happened or they got into a situation they should have, things of that nature. Those little wins from when I met with someone and they had a horrible experience before. And Faith, you've had a lot of these, those wins when they're like, oh my gosh, like y'all care so much, like y'all are on top of it, y'all know so much. That is probably the biggest little moments that keep me going, because when someone has a horrible experience and then you completely change their perspective on it, it's a crazy feeling. It really is. And we try to do that with everything, even when we're, just at HEB, if someone needs help picking up, I'm tall, so I can help and things of that nature. I'm always just looking to help in any way I can, because that little thing can change anyone's perspective on anything. So,
wow, that's cool. Great questions. Thank you so much for asking those. And I think that was wonderful. I just really appreciate you coming on and sharing what you do, but also, hearing the passion you have for what you're doing and helping our community, people here, get into homes and buying and selling.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And we're the new kid on the block, so to say, because a lot of the people have been here for a lot of years, like Mike, for instance, and he's done so much for this community. However, we look forward to assisting as many people as we can, and you even look up us. If you actually look us up on experience.com, which that's kind of like where you can find certain professionals for some. We're already number 2 in regards to home sales in Floresville in the last few years here. So we're excited for the future. We're excited to help as many people as we can, but also that competitive edge. Take over and with the good sense that we're going to be delivering the best service and the best deals possible to our clients. So we're here for the long run.
It's really nice, really awesome. Well, good job, and thank you for coming in today. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate y'all having me. So
absolutely. Yeah, well, with that, I want to thank our sponsor, Professionals in Dentistry, the top-rated dentist in China Grove, San Antonio. Smile brighter at Professionals in Dentistry. So thank you for your sponsorship of WCN Live. We look forward to many more. And thank you again for joining us. Y'all just heard the conversation with Dylan Forde, and it's Dylan Forde Real Estate Group that he has here in the area.
Yes.
And you can reach out to him, look for him. Sometimes he's in the Wilson County News, and he's in our area, but he has a website, and you can find him on social media, and those things I'll be sure and update that description later so that you can find your way to him. But thank you all for joining us today. Thank you again.
Yes,
we will see you next Wednesday. I'll be here again at 10 a.m., so we'll see you then. Bye.
Have a good one.